Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and a Frontline Changes Report. We're going to start off with Berdychi over at the DFK front. So over at the DFK front, the Russian mapping have disclaimed that the Russian forces have control over this part of Berdychi. So according to the Russians, they say that the Ukrainians actually launched a counterattack against the Russian positions, particularly from this airfield. There is an airfield over there, which is for farming use, and the Ukrainians have retaken all this position. And this also comes coincidentally with geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting geolocated along this lake around here, confirming Ukrainian presence in the northern part of Berdychi. So the Battle of Berdychi, which means will continue. So the Russian forces have not captured Berdychi. So unlike some of these pro-Russian claims, so the front line currently is split into east and west for Berdychi. So that's Berdychi. If we move further south, we're going to have a huge change over at PERVOMAISKE, also at the DFK front. Russian forces, as I mentioned before, could actually go south. In one of my sit rep, I talked about this quite some time ago, and in the latest Russian mapping, they have confirmed, or at least on their mapping, they shows that the Russian forces have taken this entire chunk. They went down this forest plantation, and they are now encircling any Ukrainian forces that is currently in the south. So if I go down a bit, you can see it clearer now. So the Russian forces is now like this. They are pushing south in this area here, and any Ukrainian forces that is holding forward positions around here must escape right now. They must do a quick escape from this region here, because according to the Russian mapping, even Berdychi, this entire area is actually Russian control. It's basically now looking like a mouth, and it's chewing down. They're chewing down from both sides. So this is currently the situation in this area here. The Russians did say that it is a bit hard to take out this entire area due to heavy mining by the Ukrainians and a lot of drone activities. So the Russians looks like they are going to push in and take this entire area, but it will take some time because of heavy drone activities and mining. So but for any Ukrainian forces that is currently positioned at this area here, the best advice is to quickly escape. But of course, I don't think they have access to YouTube, so they're not going to hear me say this. So it is what it is. So that's all for PERVOMAISKE. And we move further up north, over at Ocheretyne. So just now we were at Berdychi and PERVOMAISKE, now Ocheretyne. So the Russian advance towards Novobakhmutivka as well as Ocheretyne continues after 24 hours catching this and another 24 hours catching this. So now they have extended their tongue. Their tongue is now licking Ocheretyne. The Russian forces is now licking Ocheretyne, and they have entered basically the first buildings. This is a substation, I believe. So the Russian forces have basically taken the substation over at Ocheretyne, and they are advancing. This information come from Ukrainian sources. Deep State UA's mapping actually shows this, that the Russian forces have started the battle of Ocheretyne. Based on Russian mapping, they are still 2 days behind. In terms of Russian mapping, they only show the Russian forces at this position, and they say that there are rumors of Russian forces capturing this area called the Zoria, some kind of a garden plantation or collective kind of thing. So in terms of the Russian mapping, they are still behind the Ukrainian mapping. They are still not sure about this capture, but when you come to Ukrainian mapping, Ukrainians have said that the Russians have advanced all the way to this point. So this is a huge advance, and so we will continue to monitor. And based on this mapping, it also shows that the Russians are going to start the battle of Novobakhmutivka. So this is the situation, the frontline change over this area here at the DFK front. We move on to the next front line is over at Krasnohorivka, over at the Donetsk front. So at the Krasnohorivka, there is a first geolocation. So there you can see there's two different parts to this. So we zoom in a bit. This is the southern part. First, there is a geolocation of Russian forces confirming their presence around here, extending their control over at this railway station region. However, there is this very fascinating video that came out from Krasnohorivka, which is actually a turtle tank. So this turtle tank, you can check this out at the DPA archive. It basically looked like a battering ram from Age of Empires 2 game, and so it basically just drove all the way. So they just drove across the field, and then they entered the suburbs, going all the way up, and then they actually went back down and go out again. So all the way when as it was traveling, it is peppered by artillery, but the artillery did not hit it. At the very end of the video, the artillery came really close, but it still did not hit the tank. And all along the way, there is no Ukrainian forces engaging it, which means that there is possibility that there is no Ukrainian forces around here, or very sparse Ukrainian presence. So tentatively, the confirmed Russian capture is here, and this will become the gray zone. This will become a Russian presence. I will put the Russian mapping into here, but I will not remove the Ukrainian mapping because the Russians did not capture it. They simply drove all the way there, but showing Russian presence and a possibility of Russians are able to move all the way there very freely. So this is Krasnohorivka. The next frontline change is over at Robotyne. So this is at the Zaporizhia front. If I zoom out, just now we were all the way in this area here. So now we go to Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, we have this geolocation of Russian forces landing troops in the center of Robotyne. Russian forces are now conducting offensive operations to re-establish their front line after a month or two of Ukrainian counter-offensive operations in Robotyne. So now with this geolocation of Russian forces, this 100% confirms that the Ukrainian forces have lost this entire chunk of recapture that they previously claimed to have taken. So now the Russians have have this presence here, and which means that the Russian forces have taken more than half of Robotyne, and Ukrainians may not be present around here. We do have previous geolocation from the previous day of Ukrainian forces, some soldiers walking down this road, and then they got struck by FPV drone. So is it FPV drone? Yeah, struck by FPV drone. So yeah, this means that Ukrainians are now struggling to hold a position in Robotyne while the Russians are expanding it. It's unclear if the Russians will actually stay here with these landed troops, or will they withdraw again, simply just to conduct some assault, some clearing operation, and then they just bounce. Because staying within Robotyne still continues to be a rather hazardous thing to do. So I believe I've covered everything. Berdychi, yep, Berdychi, Robotyne, Krasnohorivka, PERVOMAISKE, Berdychi, Ocheretyne. Okay, yeah, we have covered all the frontline changes over the past 24 hours. The SIMRAP will come later. So do press the like button, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next update.